I want to apologize that I haven't been around for a while. Life gets busy, as everybody knows, and I was reminded recently that you got to go live. So here I am. All week, I think about things I want to share with you all, and then when it comes to my time, I think, what should I what should I share with you? How can I condense a lot of information into something manageable that you can actually benefit from? So that's the challenge. Today, I want to share with you what I learned from looking at a lot of tongues. A few weeks ago, I invited everybody to send me a picture of their tongue. Now, I didn't do that on Instagram, but I did on Facebook. And thank you all for doing that. It was an honor and a pleasure to look at all those tongues. And for those of you that don't know, the tongue is a microsystem, which means it reflects your entire body. It can tell us by the size, shape, color, texture, coating, what's going on inside your body, how well your organs are functioning, how well are you digesting your food. So the tongue is amazing. It's similar to the eye is a microsystem, right? The foot and reflexology is a microsystem. I'm fascinated by microsystems of the body because at a glance, we can look at something and get some indications of what's going on inside. I say this a lot, you are not your blood work. Of course, we need to rely on blood work to take a look at hormone levels and all kinds of things. But ultimately, what we want to do is look at the body and learn to look at what we see with our own eyes, because that's what's the most tangible. And that is what's going to show us what's been going on for a long period of time, right? So, hi, Maria. Hi, Anna. Yes. I mean, in a perfect world, yes, when you go to your acupuncturist or Ayurvedic practitioner or whoever, naturopath, in a perfect world, they do look at your tongue. So yes, an odd, Nicole, yep, geographic tongue, yep. No, first of all, I want to show you this picture. There's lots of books out there. There's lots of things. If you Google this, pictures are going to come up that are going to show you the map of the tongue. Okay, so the kidneys are in the back, the liver is on the side, the tip of the tongue is the heart. Okay, in the middle is the stomach and the spleen. What I learned from looking at everybody's tongues is that most of you have to improve your digestion. You have to, okay? You can have the best supplements in the world, but if you've got gut dysbiosis, if you have inflammation in your gut, if you have not enough acid in your gut, then you're not going to be absorbing your food well, your nutrients well. The expensive supplements, the micronutrients that you're taking in, they're not going to be absorbed, okay? So we have to repair our gut. I found folks have a lot of inflammation, probably a lot of candida, and a lot of heat. Okay, so heat and inflammation go together, right? So we have to cool down. The first thing to do is stop doing the things that create heat in the body. Too much coffee, too much alcohol, processed foods. The first step is always stop doing what you're doing that's causing problems, imbalances, disruption in the body. Chemicals, stop using the chemicals to clean with, to wash your hair with. Health and beauty products. There's a new Netflix series coming out called Toxic Beauty or something like that I really want to watch. There's some really good podcasts out there too. There's one particular one that's about the deleterious side effects of breast implants. This woman was so good telling her story and what happened to her health. And it's just a toxic overload, and how she dealt with it, and how she learned to chelate out these chemicals, and how she learned to detoxify and purify her body. I say this a lot. I like to think of the things that we do as purification practices versus detox. It's a little bit more positive. We want to be doing things every day that are promoting health. Okay. So the first step is always reduce, remove that which is no longer serving you, and then replace with the things that are serving you. When it comes to digestion, you can simply begin with, obviously, you want to eat as clean as possible. You want to avoid processed food as much as possible. I know we're in reality. If you're traveling, especially if you're coming to treatment here in Syracuse, it's hard. You can't just bring a buffet with you on the plane. I get it. It's hard to find good food. It is around. You can make it a priority, but it's challenging. If you have to eat processed food, if you're forced to go to Burger King or something like that, what I tell folks is take digestive enzymes, drink a lot of water, add more fiber in your meal. You want to make sure you're eliminating out. I mean, let's face it, we want to become resilient. It's not about, oh, you have the perfect diet and you live in a bubble and you're only eating organic steamed vegetables. No, I mean, that's great if that's what you can do, but we have to be able to adapt and eat out in restaurants and travel around the world and not fall down because, oh, we had a little bit of something toxic or a little fried food or something. So we have to get our gut strong so that we can digest. We're fine. You want to tip the scales in your favor by taking down the inflammation, chewing your food well, not eating when you're stressed. Remember, negative emotions are a kind of toxin, right? We think of toxins as heavy metals, glyphosate, plasticizers, all of this stuff. And that's true. But remember, the negative emotions that we walk around with in our mind are also toxins, and they are affecting how we are digesting, especially if you use meal times to discuss what could be challenging topics. So I recommend trying to make meal time a little light and fluffy, talk about things that are positive, get into the issues with your friends and family after dinner or long before, okay? Try not to talk about issues during meals because it has a big effect. Your liver gets congested, you feel irritable, and then guess what? The quality of your bile goes down. You're not going to be able to digest your food as good. Thank you. I mean, this is just basic stuff that we get so busy, we don't think of it or we're not aware, and so these are just simple reminders. Our meal time should be a little sacred time. If you can, take a few deep breaths. Enjoy the color on your plate if you have color. Everybody's on different, diets. So enjoy your food. Chew it well. Whatever, especially if you're doing keto, you're eating all that steak and bacon, you've got to chew that really good for that to go down well. Take your time, enjoy every bite. Make it a kind of mindfulness practice. So here's the other thing too about drinking during meals. I don't think a lot of people know exactly what's ideal here. This has been based on my experience and decades of seeing how other people eat and their practices of digestion and drinking during meals. You do want to drink something. You do not want to drink ice during a meal. Why? Because in order to digest your food, it's got to be at least room temperature, right? Does that make sense? So your stomach, let's say it's 98 degrees in there. Suddenly you're putting in cold food, ice drinks. What happens? The stomach has to work harder now to warm things up so that it can be digested and absorbed. So now you're using your precious resources of digestion to warm up the food. So this is drawing, it's taking energy from you. So room temperature or above, hot liquids are fine. You can sip on it. You do not want to be drinking tons of liquids during a meal. Why? Because exactly, diluting digestive enzymes. A lot of the enzymes that you need are right here in your salivary glands. So the more you chew, the saliva is released, and that is the first step or second step in digestion right here. So start with that, little sips of fluid throughout the meal helps it go down, but not a ton, because you don't want to put out the fire. Digesting is a little bit of a cauldron. You need a little bit of fire in there. So adding a lot of liquid dampens out the fire, puts out the fire. And then the stomach works harder to warm up. And then what happens is we start getting hotter and hotter and creating that stomach heat that we do not want. I'm going to be spending more time soon talking about how to prevent miscarriage. I'm getting a lot of feedback. It's really a concern for many of you, okay? And so let's really work together and do everything that we possibly can to support you, your body, mind, and spirit to prevent this from happening again. This is directly connected to also improving egg quality. They're very similar in our approach. So just know that we're working hard behind the scenes to get a lot of tailored, customized information for you that's going to benefit you, your health overall, okay, for the long run. Back to digestion just for a moment. I talked about absorption. Please avoid the extremes too, like too much spice. A little bit can help digestion, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of fenugreek. Mild is actually good. It supports the body to digest. That extra hot, spicy stuff, not good, not good. So please avoid the extremes. Try to keep things in the middle. Targeted, like I said, digestive enzymes. There's good stuff out there. You can reach out to me if you want. You can email me if you want ideas for brands and stuff like that. I'm going to put my website here. I've gone from .world to .net. I hope that that works. What else? I think that that's it, folks, about digestion, the tongue, clearing the heat. Other things that cause heat, like I said, stress, diet, spicy foods, all of that. I worked with a woman this week that was very, very hot. She was on the table. She was sweating profusely, just lying there. And then she shared with me that she has a history of miscarriage. I was not surprised. Too much heat in the body forces things out of the vessels, whether it's sweat or blood, forcing things out. So we don't want that kind of heat. Here's the thing too, and this is my personal agenda about air conditioning. Not a fan of AC. We have to adapt. Now, I do believe if you're constitutionally warmer than others, there's not much that you can do to make a constitutional shift, and that's fine. For the rest of us, we need to learn to adapt to our environment. We should do things like go swimming, take a cold shower, things that are cooling the body. Yes, but when you live in an air-conditioned environment all the time, it's been my personal experience that the body doesn't adapt as well to the environment. So in the herbal realm, there's a whole category of herbs called adaptogens, right? Ashwagandha is the most well-known one. I highly recommend it. There's no contraindications. Everybody will benefit from ashwagandha. It helps with stress, with your immune system, with energy, with insomnia. It helps the body to adapt better. And that's what we want to do. Adapt to our environment. So if you're living in air conditioning all the time, the body shuts down that internal thermostat. So then if you do have to go outside or into another office environment that's not air conditioned, what happens is this rubber band effect. And then suddenly you're so hot and you can't cool down. And this excess heat is just pouring out of you. And it's putting the body into a bit of a weakened state. Okay. So, Anna, yes, this is my other thing. So I've been in practice a long time. The way I was trained 25, 30 years ago is everybody had to get a diagnosis. We had to come up, we had to tell you, you have liver blood stasis, spleen chi deficiency, weakness in your kidneys, gallbladder dysfunction, something, and then create a treatment plan based on that. And nowadays, I'm seeing people every day, and I ask them, what is your diagnosis? And they usually have something from Western medicine, PCOS, whatever. They rarely have something from their acupuncturist or their naturopath or whatever. And so I will encourage you, ask for a diagnosis. Yeah, it's 117, Michelle, in Arizona. I know. Yeah, 117 there, as you know, because of the dryness, is a lot different from 117 here in central New York, where we would all just probably not make it. It's the humidity, right? So I know it's hot in the desert, and it's my favorite kind of heat, but I know it's challenging. People that live in extremes, especially in the South here, New Orleans, Southern Florida, all of that, it's the humidity. I went to school in Honolulu. It was very hot and damp there, and we had a lot of damp heat conditions. This is where fungus likes to grow. Candida loves to thrive, and it's harder to combat that. You really have to do more extreme things to kind of offset that, and I get that. So I think I have rambled on long enough. I hope that this time has benefited you all. And please reach out to me. You can sign up on my website there. You can download the 9 strategies to detox. There's a lot of information there about the kind of toxins and how it's affecting your overall fertility. It's my personal mission to help you to remove toxins from your body. Why? Because that's how we prevent disease and end up with healthy babies. And oh, good. Yes, wonderful. Sophie, I'm so glad. No, I think that doing the glutathione patches during stimming is good. It should make everything work better. It supports your lungs. It is the queen of antioxidants. So whatever free radicals are floating around, it's going to help chomp them up. It's big anti-cancer antioxidant. And so if you started them, which it sounds like you did, prior to the stimming, then the body's used to it and you can keep going with that. So I love that. I love that. Definitely. Any feedback related to that is helpful. I love the wearable technology. I usually have a couple patches on throughout my body. I forget about it until I look in the mirror and then see these patches. They're so easy to use. Especially the stem cell patch, I love. I'm hoping the company will do some research related to information that I particularly want to know about egg quality and preventing miscarriage for you all. So please take care of yourself. Pay attention to what you're feeling and what you're thinking, as our body, mind, and emotions has an effect. So stay positive, neutral or above as much as you can. And I will see you all next week. And you can always email me any questions you have. Okay. Alrighty. Bye-bye.